Hi everyone. Oh.
Hello! As the downstream.
Welcome to this week's episode of the Geekend. My name is Professor Weird. I will be hosting today. Usually, when we have one of these big introductions, it's franchise. Unfortunately, he's busy playing sport. But I know sport. Who plays
Geeks
sport?
know nothing about sport.
Anyway, this week I have with me. You probably haven't seen. I don't think you've been on since the first episode, have you, Katie? This is Katie's second episode. Welcome, Katie.
I'm back. Hello, everybody. Hope you are well. And I'm looking forward to chatting to shit about geeky stuff.
Excellent,
All things
excellent.
geeky.
And of course, we are. The whole purpose of this episode is to introduce you to our newest host, filling in, who agreed to fill in last week. It is Lola. And oh god, don't tell me her internet's crashed again. She's frozen.
Doing a dance. It's like a dance.
Poor Lola. I don't think her laptop likes the Geekend very much. Okay, this is going to mess up the cam boxes if she disappears, so apologies, viewers.
Okay.
Yep. Oh,
We.
I got a very weird noise in my head. Okay, well, we're going to try and get Lola back. Do hold on.
Yeah, the camera's messed up. Oh, God.
Hold on. Oh, hey, oh, hey.
Technical difficulties on BNN. The Geekend. It happens.
Wow, that is... Porster! How much did you just...
The camera's back to normal when when Lola joined back in.
Yeah, well, it's because of the way we got the camera set up. But could somebody please tell me exactly how much Porster just donated in biddies? Because there was a lot. 3,000.
3,000.
Anyway, as I was saying before, your camera so rudely crashed on us, Lola. You are our new host. Introduce yourself.
Hi. I am LolaSunnyButter. I am super hyped to be here. I am normally a variety streamer for Twitch, and I'm so excited to talk all things nerdy.
Excellent. Well, let's kick things off, shall we? It's the 1st of July, so that kind of marks the halfway point in the year. So we thought we'd have a look back, see what's gone well over 2018 so far, what we've enjoyed, what we haven't enjoyed, any controversies that come across, and then we'll move on to what we're looking forward to for the rest of the year and into next year, especially considering some of the things that came out of E3 certainly looking fun. So, Katie, any highlights of the year so far?
Well, in terms of movies,
Anything nerdy?
Anything nerdy. Okay, so Infinity War is obviously at the top of the list. New Star Wars movie that, yes, it came out probably at the wrong time of the year, but it's still a Star Wars movie. People that know me I love Star Wars, so that's always a plus in my book. In terms of games as well, just bringing up games. One game I was looking forward to for years because I pledged to it on Kickstarter at least 5 years ago was Kingdom Come Deliverance. It actually came out this year in February, and I've completed it now. I completed it. DLC, there's like a big package of DLC coming out for it over from now.
Was that the... No, I'm thinking of another game. Never mind. I was thinking of another game.
But there's some DLC set going to be released from now up until roughly this point next year, early next year. So they've got a lot of DLC planned for it as well.
Okay.
And I love it mainly. Just talking about it briefly, love it mainly because it's set in real life. I guess the right way to say it. It's set in real life, obviously.
A realistic world.
Yes, and it's just awesome because I love history, and it's a great game. E3 was it's probably the best E3 I think I've watched. So many good games came out of it. Just so many good games to come. So I'm looking forward to them all. And it's just
Sounds good. Lola's having technical difficulties with her internet today.
I have no idea why.
To be honest, it could have paused on a worse picture. To at least you kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Anything you've enjoyed so far? What do you mean your highlights?
2018, my highlights so far. Oh, I mean, like Shadow of the Colossus was my highlight.
Played that. I need to
You
play it.
haven't?
I
Oh,
still
you
need to
do
play it.
You do need to play it. And I watched like Ready Player One at the start of the year.
Oh,
Like
that was a
has
good
been my
film.
film. Was a good
I
film.
will watch it.
Hey, where have you been for
I
2018?
don't know. I
I'm
guess living under
pretty
a rock
sure it's
in
going to be
some-
out on
somewhere.
DVD soon. Pretty sure
Yeah,
it's going to be on
so-
DVDs.
Yeah, it is. That is such a cool film. Like, I really enjoyed Shadow of the Colossus. I joined the hype and bought Labo as well.
Oh, that's the
Nintendo Switch
Nintendo
cardboard
Switch
thing.
cardboard box thingy.
Yeah.
Very, very,
Yeah.
like very intuitive though. I do like it because it makes kids build things.
Yeah, and
it's
you
like
can
it
kind
is.
of do your own things with it as well. Like someone made a fighting game arcade cabinet style thing out of cardboard.
The composer of Game
cool.
of Thrones created created the keyboard version of it, and he played the Game of Thrones theme tune on it.
Ooh, nice.
That was great.
Just picking up on chat, Groove Jonas one. Yes, there is a book as well. The book does cover quite a lot of different pieces, but that
Yeah,
isn't in
I've
the film.
heard some people say that the film's actually better than the book and actually improved on the book. I wouldn't know. I haven't read the book. Oh, we've lost Lola again. Okay, apologies,
Maybe when
everyone.
she comes back, she should maybe just keep the webcam off. I don't know if that's what's causing it over. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yep. There we go.
Hey, there we go. We got that at least. Anyway,
Just have to play with the camera.
yeah.
We have sorted the camera.
Yeah, I would agree. Ready Player One was really good. I did also enjoy Infinity War and Solo. I don't know why a lot of people didn't like it, but I do know the reason why not a lot of people went to see it was because they didn't really give it the marketing push that they had with the
Yeah.
other stuff. I think that was deliberate, possibly. But Deadpool
Star Wars
2,
film.
Deadpool 2, I was
Oh, Deadpool 2.
yeah,
Yeah.
Deadpool
I haven't
2.
seen
That was
that.
one of my highlights of the year.
Yeah, it's in Deadpool 2.
Um,
No.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think if there was. I think Shield season 5. That was pretty much ran from January. That I really loved what they did with season 5. Actually, that was definitely one of my highlights. Yeah. Okay, so what about things we thought weren't as good? Because there were. I got a couple, but Katie, anything that you felt wasn't as good or underwhelmed you anyway?
No, Mass Effect Andromeda was last year. Why am I thinking that was this year?
Well, did they officially say they wouldn't be doing another one for a while this year, or
that was said last year, but then again this year they've said EA have come out and said have said things that I just don't listen to EA anymore because
well,
mainly
you could
they
argue
just
EA
talk a
has
load of
EA has been bad this year.
yeah. EA's been bad this year. That's pretty true, actually.
Pretty bad in general, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah,
We can have an whole episode talking about EA and just how bad they are. But
we could.
in recent thoughts, Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom, didn't like it. I didn't like it. I'm not going to spoil anything big because obviously it is a still fairly recent film. But I just thought the trailers have this thing also of just showing so much in a film and showing obviously so many of the good bits. And most of the time when that's happened, I mean, they did it with Spider-Man: Homecoming, and Spider-Man: Homecoming was still really good in my opinion.
They did it with Batman v Superman.
They did it with Batman v Superman, which I haven't seen, but I know that lots of people didn't.
You don't need to watch it. You just need to watch the trailer.
But yeah, Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom did that, and I think a lot of the good bits were in the trailer, and the rest of it, like I don't know, it's just it kind of fell flat for me a lot.
Underwhelmed you?
Underwhelmed. Storyline was a bit far-fetched in places. Yes, I know it's dinosaurs, but still, it's like there's certain things in it that I just couldn't get past really. But so that thinking of recent things that disappointed me, Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom.
Mine was A Way Out.
Oh, A Way Out, yeah. Because you were playing that on your stream, weren't you?
I did. I played with my significant other for my sins, and he is a much better gamer than I am. And yeah, it was a bit of a letdown. It was a one-up from a walking sim.
That came from EA, right? Wasn't it the co-op game?
Of course it did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was no loot boxes though.
Yeah, I personally was a little disappointed with the first expansion of Destiny 2, which came out. I know that came out kind of late last year, but it kind of like it really put me off Destiny for because I sort of like persevered into this year, but it kind of like really put me off to the point I stopped playing it for a little while until the second expansion was coming out, which has actually rekindled my love of it, and I will be talking about Destiny 2 a bit more in the things I'm looking forward to. Yeah, the whole thing about loot boxes, that's been a huge, like, why are companies still trying to push this stuff? And the
Because
battle
people
pass,
hate it. Yeah.
the battle pass has been a big bugbear because that's another new thing that's come out as well, and that's kind of like they're just trying to. It just seems like we are cows to be milked for money by these big companies. Not sure I enjoy being milked. Not in that way anyway. But I think one of the biggest disappointments of this year, and this is kind of like one of the big things I wanted to talk about and get your opinions on, was Sony and their whole attitude towards cross-platform gaming, and the fact that they don't seem to be on board with making it work, and it in some cases, like with Fortnite, basically holding players' accounts
that's
hostage without letting them know. So,
and how did that come about again exactly? Like that situation? Was it like if they've bought it on, if they've already
if you
owned
link
it on
your
another
Epic
platform?
account to your PlayStation account, no matter if you unlink it, it will not work on any other platform.
Nope.
So essentially, they're holding it hostage.
Surely Epic can do something to Sony about that.
Apparently not. Apparently, it's not something they can do, and I think it might be in the small print of their negotiating for getting it on the platform.
Yeah, I just don't understand why Sony aren't on board with something like this. Because I mean, you look at how yes, they'd have to obviously work with partially, or whatever, work with Microsoft and Nintendo on this, and PC platforms or whatever, like Steam. I don't know, but still, it's worked for Microsoft, it's worked for Nintendo, it's worked for Steam and other PC platforms. So I just don't see how PlayStation just can't see that it's like it would work if they did it. It would work. People would do it.
I mean, you look at stuff like Rocket League.
Yeah,
that works. It works really well in Rocket League, and actually, they are going to have cross-platform matchmaking for all platforms except Sony. Now, this includes Nintendo, and Nintendo are definitely not the one you would expect to be like all for that kind of thing, and yet they're like, yeah, sure. And Nintendo and Xbox are trolling solely on social media about this.
Yeah, I mean, to say that Nintendo is so against anything internet-wise, they won't have any gameplay on YouTube, and they won't have this, and they won't have that. And it's like, I'm Nintendo, and like Sony have always been a bit like this. I mean, I am Sony till the end. Like, I love the PlayStation, but like, it's getting annoying when I can't play with people who are on other platforms because I don't have enough PlayStation friends. So I know a lot of PC. I don't have enough friends, but you know, I don't have enough PC friends. Or I have a lot of PC friends and a lot of Xbox friends, but not enough PS4 to be able to play like multiplayers and stuff, which is what I enjoy doing with friends.
I have seen a lot of people say like that they've been a PlayStation gal or guy for like so many years on their side every time when it's coming to E3 and like, oh, which side you're going to be on, all that kind of stuff, and now some of them are saying, oh, I love their games. You know, some of the games they've been releasing are really good, all that stuff. But they're like, I'm starting to have a bad taste in my mouth when it comes to like why they won't include crossplay, and technically people saying being greedy. They won't.
They're market leaders. You can kind of understand it because they want people to buy their consoles, but at the same time,
there's a line, right? I feel like there's a line, or there's a certain point where you got to think, maybe, okay, everyone else is doing this. It's working for them. They're getting the money for it. Let's do it.
At this point, it's hurting their brand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that because of all the different exclusives that they got. People aren't like they're not thinking, oh yeah, well let's do cross-platform and let's get some more revenue. They're just thinking, now we're just going to work on exclusives.
Yeah, I think if they didn't have God of War and Horizon Zero Dawn, they'd be
Detroit.
and Detroit Become Human. They would have been in a lot weaker position about this. You know, they have done remarkably well, especially with very story-driven single-player experiences. Oddly enough, which is kind
The
of
EA
like,
said was dead.
well, EA say a lot of things because it doesn't make them money.
Go eat a dick, EA. Don't shut our podcast down.
Yeah. I mean, if it's not making EA money, EA wish it would go in a ditch and die, effectively.
Yes.
But yeah, it's definitely a case of Sony are kind of looking at this in a very short-sighted way, because I think there's definitely a pressure from gamers for more connected gaming. It shouldn't, at this stage in 2018, it shouldn't be at the point where it's kind of like still in the console wars, you know, about which clan are you. It should be about getting together, playing your games, regardless of what you're playing it on.
Playing games together.
I mean, you can
And
play Fortnite on mobile. I mean,
exactly.
And PlayStation can't cross-platform.
But it would also make people, if they're obviously always on the side of PlayStation and think, okay, that's the platform, it's the only platform for me, that's all I'm going to play on, it will make them buy these games. So I think, okay, I can play with my friend who's on Xbox, I can play with my friend who's on PC.
Oh, we lost Lola again for a second. Apologies. But yeah, no, I do get what you mean with that. And there comes a point where with certain games, you're going to be like losing market, because it's kind of like, well, I could get it on Xbox. Because let's face it, a lot of gamers have one of each console.
Yeah.
If they could afford it. And so, do I get this on my Xbox, or where I can play with everybody, including PC, or do I get this on the PlayStation where I can play with oh, I guess only people on my PlayStation. And you kind of think, kind of shooting yourself in the foot there a little bit, Sony.
Yeah.
I mean, look, if the film division can play nice with Marvel and Disney,
yeah,
the gaming division can play nice with Nintendo and Xbox. I mean, it's not rocket science. It just takes a little bit of case of, you know, do what's best for the game and not what's best for you for once.
I think where they're going to struggle, personally, I think it will all come to light, and I think they may change their mind around Fallout 76.
Yes, because according to a report I saw, the reason that does not have cross-platform support is purely because of Sony. They're the only one that's holding it up. It's because they approached Sony with it, and Sony said no.
Bethesda's a big company, and I feel like Epic's obviously big. Epic's big now because of Fortnite, but Bethesda's obviously been around a lot longer.
Yeah, so
it
needs
a lot more power behind them to say, right.
Yeah,
it
needs more
crossplay.
It needs more publishers to put pressure on the platform holders to do this.
Yeah.
There's a market for this.
Might threaten.
Yeah.
They could threaten to be like, okay, I'm gonna go and join Microsoft then.
Yeah.
And not put any more games on your platform.
And and if you've got a choice of playing lots of multiplayer games with your friends on Xbox Live or not at all with your Sony, which one are you going to get the paid network for? PlayStation or?
Yeah, I mean, like as I say, I've always been PlayStation, but I don't think people are going to buy those sorts of games. I think they're going to stay away from it and get it more on, like, buy an Xbox, buy a PC, and do them on and play them on there, and they're just going to steer away from Sony.
Yeah, I think it could affect them next generation. I mean, look at what happened with see, when you go against what gamers want, like look at how Xbox One suffered because they didn't initially have backwards compatibility.
Yeah, exactly.
Xbox compatibility helped out Xbox a lot.
Yeah, and I tell you what, the Game Pass, the Xbox Game Pass is actually, I haven't played many games for it, but I'm still paying for it because I think it's such a good idea. Like a lot of little games you can get for free. You can get the game day of release, not have to worry about it, and it's like a $5 a month or whatever it is. It's like it's Netflix for games.
Yeah,
it is.
Especially with digital games, you don't technically own them anymore. Anyway, it seems to like bringing back renting is the future.
And when when Xbox brought out backwards compatibility, PlayStation didn't kind of like do that for a little while, and then they brought out, what is it, PlayStation Now,
Yes.
which I think I did look into it, and I think it's not nearly as good as what
Yeah.
Xbox still offer now. I mean, they offer quite a few games, but I don't feel not as many as like Xbox offers.
Yeah. The only
No, not
the
at
only
all.
sorry.
No, you're okay.
Well, the only issue I see with something like that is the potential for all publishers to end up just kind of pairing off their stuff, and so you actually end up having to play for a lot of different. Like EA kind of do that already because they got their version of that, and I think Ubisoft are looking at that as well. Anyway, I did want to touch on one other thing before we look to the future, and that was a very British thing, and that's the fact that both The Incredibles 2 and Ant-Man and the Wasp have both been delayed by up to a month.
Wait, Ant-Man's been delayed too?
Ant-Man and the Wasp is delayed in the UK because of the football.
Oh, the football.
Yeah,
I like
because of the
football, so I
football,
guess I'm
because
a
they
bit
didn't think
torn.
anyone would go out and watch Ant-Man and the Wasp when the football's on. And it understandably made a lot of people very upset because
I could.
you go on the internet and people are immediately posting spoilers as soon as they've seen it, no matter how hard you
Yeah.
try. It's
Hmm.
very difficult to go a week without spoilers, let alone a month. And of course, there are people who just won't even bother waiting, and as soon as it comes up on the sites that will not be mentioned because of legal
Yeah.
reasons, they will go and watch that rather than watching it in the cinema. So potentially losing some money. So what do we think of this, where IRL stuff moves around schedules?
I do find that a bit odd when it comes to they've moved it because of the football. Because
Yeah.
obviously there are a lot of casual moviegoers that will go and probably see both of these films. But then to the main core, I think especially for Ant-Man and the Wasp, I feel like geeky comic book nerds. I know some of them, like myself, will like football. But then I feel like, we speak in the TheBNN Discord, and there's like tons of people that when you mention sports, they switch off because they just don't like sport. And I feel like there's probably loads of people out there in the world that are just like, I don't think Ant-Man and the Wasp in particular would have been affected by the football being on. So Incredibles probably would have, because kids, they like football and things like that. Families would like probably their kids to watch the football, go to the pub on a nice sunny day, things like that. So maybe I can understand that a bit more, but I don't kind of understand Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah. I don't get it. I mean, to be honest, I'm really good at missing spoilers because I went 2 months without knowing what happens in Infinity War, and I still haven't seen it.
Damn.
But I now know what happens because it got ruined for me.
Oh,
no.
2 months.
I think you can't really. If it's 2 months, I think that's kind of like, well, that's fair game.
Oh, that was impressive though. That's an impressive.
Yeah, making it 2 months is impressive. Yes, agreed.
But yeah, you can miss the spoilers. Clearly, I can. But there is a way around it.
Yeah, not with my friends.
I
But
was gonna say it's a shame that most movies can't do what Marvel did with Infinity War. Like they did so much promo kind of material on not spoiling anything, and I felt like spoilers. Obviously, there are spoilers for everything.
Yeah.
But I felt with Infinity War, I didn't see as many, and I don't know if that's because of all the promo stuff.
Thanos
Marvel
demands your silence.
Yeah, Thanos demands your silence. So kind of things like that. Like they pushed that type of stuff a lot.
Yeah.
Because they obviously didn't want people to be spoiled for it.
Yeah, they
So
did.
maybe if every other film kind of followed that, maybe it might be different.
But I do agree with the fact that I don't really understand it, because if you're big comic book nerd, you're going to go and see it opening weekend. If you're a casual fan, you're probably going to see it at some point. Yeah. But I'm guessing it's because they want that. Oh, we lost Lola again. That big opening weekend, and they want that big money opening weekend.
And I said it before we started recording that we had, I don't know what delayed it in America, but we had Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom at the 5th of June, and they only got it, I think, a week and a bit ago in America. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. So
maybe it was a sporting event again.
Sporting event. I'm not sure, but. America's kind of laughing at us now because they get both these films before us.
Yeah, I mean, if it was Avengers 4, I think there'd be a bloody riot, and you could argue that Ant-Man and the Wasp, they kind of think, well, we can kind of get away with it because the first Ant-Man didn't do as well. It was a solid film, and to be honest, I would have loved to have seen Edgar Wright's version because I absolutely love Edgar Wright. But I thought Peyton Reed, I think it was, did a good job of stitching it all together and making a coherent story. And Paul Rudd is a charismatic lead. In fact, he's
Yes.
actually him and Evangeline Lilly.
Evangeline.
Yeah,
Lilly?
never sure how to pronounce it. He and she both come out and are like, we don't really understand this, because you know they've worked really hard on this, and they don't want to lose out on potential money because or the film. They don't want people to miss out from potentially seeing the film because it's like delayed and they see a spoiler and they're like, oh, just won't go and see it because I know what happens now. And it does look like it's going to be quite a ride as well from what I've seen of the trailers.
I've just seen in the chat that vindication. You know, mainstream things will always take priority over geeky, nerdy stuff.
Yeah, so geeky nerdy stuff has definitely made its way more towards the mainstream, but not quite there yet.
Not quite there yet.
Yeah, I can't recall ever anything being kind of like rescheduled on this scale for a sporting event for quite some time.
And fair play, you know, it is probably one of the biggest sporting events ever. Well, I'm sorry, I would say because it comes along only every 4 years and stuff.
Some would argue the Olympics, but yeah, I get what you mean.
Olympics, yeah, but yeah, it seems a bit excessive.
Because they definitely didn't move anything for the Olympics, did they?
No.
And they never move anything for Wimbledon.
But to be fair, it's in Russia. It's Russia. It's Russia. I don't know if Vladimir Putin's got a word in with anything.
Yes, I do not want you to stop people watching my sporting event. But yeah, I was really looking forward to The Incredibles 2, and I'm a bit bummed out that I'm going to have to wait for it, especially as I'm probably going to have to wait till after I've moved now.
Well, we can see it together.
Yay! That's conversation.
You can come and join us.
You can come and join us. We've got spare room for you, Lola. But yeah. But yeah, I think on the whole, 2018's been pretty good so far. E3, as you said, there was pretty good things. There were some people took differing opinions. Like some people said that Sony's E3 show was a little weak. Nintendo's was a little short on games, but they kind of tried to make up for it by saying, "Hey, you know all those Smash games you loved before? Well, every character's in."
I kind of felt like that helped out.
Except Waluigi.
I don't even accept Waluigi ever.
Yeah, there's sort of like memes and hashtags all about that at the moment. But yeah, I think it's been a good year so far. But looking forward, Lola, I'm going to come to you first. Looking forward for the rest of the year and early into next year, what are you most excited for?
I'm excited for 3 different games. So, firstly, Spider-Man. Spider-Man, I am so hyped for. Fallout 76, when I get my PC, yes, I am joining the PC Master Race. And
what's the PC fund at the moment?
Yeah, but a lot better than that. This is my internet, so we'll be having words with said internet provider. Mario Party.
Oh, I've always had good Mario Party games.
Mario Party.
Which one is that? Is it 10 yet, or is it Mario Party?
11.
Oh, 11.
We're actually calling it Super Mario Party. Coming to the Switch. I am so hyped for that. So hyped. I am a massive Mario Party fan. Obviously Smash Brothers as well, but I'm more into Mario Party. So they're my big 3. I hope Fallout 76 doesn't fall flat on its backside.
Okay, and anything like film-wise, TV-wise?
Film-wise, I don't actually watch a lot of films because I don't get time to go out and watch films. So yeah, obviously I was looking forward to sort of catching up really from the rest of the year. So I wanted to watch Infinity War, and I wanted to watch Deadpool 2, and I will get to the Ant-Man and the Wasp. So I hope that that's going to go really well, and I do want to watch that, but it's just going to be a case of waiting for me to get there. I'm behind everybody.
Yeah, I think they did confirm that Ant-Man and the Wasp takes place just before Infinity War as well, which will be interesting. Might explain why he wasn't in it.
Yeah, TV shows, I don't actually watch anything. I watch Emmerdale. That's it.
Anything in Emmerdale you're looking forward to? More death?
Probably more death.
It's always death.
Somebody will run away.
Yeah, all soaps are basically 4 funerals and a wedding, aren't they?
Yeah, well, maybe not even that. Maybe 4 funerals and a christening.
And Katie, what are you looking forward to for the rest of the year and early into next year?
Well, film wise, there was probably, I think I just looked up what films are coming out, I guess, for the foreseeable future, rest of the year or whatever. And Incredibles 2 and Ant-Man and the Wasp, I'll be looking forward to both of those.
Yes.
Looked up and couldn't see anything else in
Venom.
terms of movies. Venom. When is that out? October?
That's autumn. I think October.
I didn't realize that was so soon. I thought that was
Yeah,
next
no,
year.
it's yeah.
I kind of am. I am in a way because I don't know, Venom is such a cool character, very cool looking. I think he looks okay in this trailer, but then again, that wasn't final footage, so I guess now they'll look at people in an uproar saying it doesn't look very good, then they'll
There's always
hopefully
time
make
for reshoots.
make some slight improvements to how he looks, but I guess I'm looking forward to that now that you say that as well. In terms of TV, I'll bring up TV. Obviously, I always look forward to The Walking Dead. I know people can shit on me if they want to. I've been watching since season 1, so I am
Is
invested.
this going to be the last season with Andrew Lincoln in?
Last season with Andrew Lincoln, which I've said it before. I think I've said I haven't said it on this before, but I've said it with friends in passing that it's kind of an odd thing to bring up before the season comes because obviously he's the main integral main character, and that's something like you'd probably want to save, just keep it under lock and key. Don't tell and don't say anything about it. But then I think I spoke to you about it, didn't I, Pete?
Yeah.
Actually, when we met up, and people would be angry either way. I think to be fair, because I love this show. I love Walking Dead, but I will say it's got to start wrapping up pretty soon, because otherwise it's going to be ended for them and not the way they want to. Because it has lost a lot of viewers, it's lost ratings because of some not so good decisions by the writers and all that stuff. But
yeah, they kind of deviated a bit too much from the comics, from what I've heard.
They were going all right, and then they just went like that.
Like, they tried to make it too sensationalist, didn't they? And they're like, "Who's gonna die this week?"
Lastly, the most recent season has been very it's very actiony. One thing I really wanted to bring back is the horror aspect, because obviously it's about zombies, and that aspect's been lost.
I watched.
You're not even afraid of the zombies anymore.
Yeah, really? I watched the first 3 seasons, and it was all about tension and building, and it wasn't a case of it's massive. Yeah, they'd have the occasional big action set piece, like 1 per season, but it was all about that creeping tension of going along and not knowing when the next thing was going to happen. Like, when was someone going to suddenly, So there was always that. Yeah. Gaming or any other TV?
Well, yeah, Walking Dead, looking forward to that, as always. Invested since season 1. No, Game of Thrones is next year. I keep thinking it's this year. Oh, Game of Thrones is still next year.
Is it early next year? Because I said it going into
I think
next
it's
year.
early next year.
Yeah,
that
counts.
Only 6 episodes long. It's crazy.
Yeah. Are they going to finish it with a movie or something, or is it 2 short seasons?
I would love that, to be fair. I would love that, to be fair. I have no idea, but I would absolutely love that. Westworld, I will bring up Westworld. If you haven't watched that, it's very, very confusing, but it's still absolutely worth it.
Would you say, I've heard comparisons to Lost and a little bit of The Walking Dead as well.
It is, people say like Lost, if you watch all the episodes of Lost, or you watch like 5 episodes of Lost, you miss the 6th episode and you just join back in on the 7th episode, like, I'll just catch up on that one some other time. Your brain will just lose it, because you need to watch every episode to understand what's going on, because it is a very, very complex show, and
according to the BNN,
different timelines and stuff.
The 2 final episodes of Game of Thrones are movie length episodes.
Yes. Westworld did that. Their 2nd season wrapped up just this week gone, and their final season was an hour and a half, so kind of movie length. So, but I just recommend, it has just finished, but I highly recommend people that are like, they want to find something new to watch, definitely give Westworld a chance.
Yeah.
I don't know when the 3rd season's coming, because the 2nd season had kind of what Game of Thrones is going through now. It didn't come out last year, or
it's out soon, because I've seen adverts for it. I think they're building up to it, aren't they?
Yeah, but gaming, that's enough of like TV and film. Gaming, in terms of like stuff from E3, Last of Us Part 2.
Yep.
Because Last of Us is so good. It's gaming. It's one of the few games I call it a gaming masterpiece. I think not much is wrong with it.
No.
What else? Kingdom Hearts 3.
Oh yes, the elusive Kingdom Hearts 3.
Been so looking forward to that for so long, and I need to replay 1 and 2.
Which
'Cause I haven't
versions of
played
1
the
and 2
movies.
though? Because there are so many.
It will be the HD collection. I need to
Yeah,
buy it actually for the
I've
PS4.
heard. Yeah, they're going to do like a big collection and like bringing everything together.
When 3 comes out, they release every single game that they've ever made. The ones that they've had to they've like brought from like what is it, DS or
Yeah.
Yes,
Vita
DS.
platforms are all
Yeah.
coming to PS4. So, and one
Interesting.
thing, if you just a little tip, if you pre-order this giant collection bundle, you get a really awesome Kingdom Hearts theme for your PS4, like background
Ah.
theme, and it just it sounds really good. It's got like the noise of the menu when you're in the Kingdom Hearts menu,
Ooh.
and every time you move to a different icon or whatever in the PS4 menu, it makes that noise, and it sounds really good. What else? Cyberpunk 2077.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I did not realize that was actually based on a board game, if I recall correctly.
Is it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's based on an original property.
Oh,
It
dang.
is. It's based on Cyberpunk 2020, I think it was called, a tabletop game.
Yeah.
Damn. But it's coming from CD Projekt Red, who made obviously the fantastic series The Witcher, and obviously it's still an RPG, but it's on the totally different end of the spectrum in it being set in the future, whereas Witcher was like medieval fantasy.
And first-person shooter as well.
First-person shooter, which everyone's lost their shit about.
Oh
I
no!
personally don't.
Change. How will I cope?
But it's just I mean, I don't know. I'm a CD Projekt Red, so I can't see the
They've got a good
chance. That's
track
what they did with The
record.
Witcher.
They've
Yeah,
got a good
I'll see
track
what they
record
did
of
with The
world
Witcher.
building, haven't they? And
Got
building it with the
human
side
chops.
quests.
It's
So
my
that should be
Siri
good.
visits in Witcher 3. So that's what BNN posting in the chat.
Yeah.
But I just want to quickly say the way Microsoft ended that conference was probably one of my favorite things about E3. How Microsoft ended their conference. Like I actually felt so gutted and disappointed. Like, because I read it up on Twitter before that CD Projekt Red was showing off Cyberpunk during Microsoft's conference, or Microsoft had the rights to it this year or whatever. And I was like, oh, they haven't shown it. Where is it? And I was so excited to see it, and it just didn't show. So I was actually really gutted. And then all of a sudden, obviously, all the lights went down and all the technical glitches, all that kind of stuff was going on there. And I lost my shit. I was so excited because I'm like, I knew what it was straight away.
Microsoft, I think they had a really good E3, but yeah.
They did. Like people I think people did not complain, but people kind of criticized that it was just a lot of like E3 exclusive, world premiere, kind of things like that. Like not a lot of them talking on the stage, but I swear they've done that in the past and people complained about it. I don't know, but
Thank you for the cheers, Johnny. Actually, one of the things that I kind of wish I'd remembered from E3 was the fact that Ninja Theory have been bought out by Microsoft, and they made the fantastic Senua's Sacrifice. And if you haven't seen the behind the scenes stuff where they're kind of like doing the live motion capping, it's really fascinating to watch something and how they kind of like got the reaction for Senua by showing stuff on a TV, basically.
Is Ninja Theory the one that made Hellblade?
Yeah.
Yes, Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, yes. Yeah. But yeah, for me, obviously, after big thing I'm looking forward to this year is moving. But after that, gaming, Forsaken, the Destiny 2 expansion, the first real big reroll. It's kind of like the Destiny 2 equivalent of the Taken expansion. Curse of Osiris. I don't know what was it called. I forget what it was called. But anyway, that's looking really good. They're adding in an awful lot of stuff, including a brand new multiplayer style game where it's actually a mix of PvE and PvP, which makes a huge change from every game trying to jump on the Battle Royale bandwagon. Call of Duty, Battlefield. And it looks really good, and it looks like they're going to be telling a really deep story, and it looks like Cade might die for all you Cade fans out there. So
is Cade the guy voiced by Nathan Fillion?
I'm
just gonna take a guess.
Oh yes, the wisecracking, and I think they needed it to be Cade because from what I've heard, they kind of felt they got too much towards the quippy one-liner side of things and want to move back towards a darker kind of storytelling. So we're going back to the Reef. We're going back to facing off against the Fallen and stuff like that. And the Queen's brother is back as well, amongst a few others. So that's kind of like coming out in September. I'm really looking forward to that. Apart from that, Dying Light 2, I'm not sure when exactly that's out, but I am looking forward to that after E3.
That was another big game I was looking forward
And
to.
I'm also hoping that by the end of the year, the Zen expansion of Black Mesa will be out, because I've seen some stuff of that, and that looks bloody gorgeous. Films, obviously Ant-Man and the Wasp. I'm kind of curious about Venom. There's a few other films that I can't remember off the top of my head, but obviously going into next year, Captain Marvel. Around end of winter, beginning of spring. I think it's February, March sort of time. Going back to the 90s, younger Nick Fury, Agent Coulson back on the big screen. Yeah, I'm a massive Agent Coulson fan. And that looks like it's being interesting. And then, of course, how can you make comment of films without mentioning Avengers 4?
By the way, I think they've confirmed because of concept. There's been obviously concept art being shown now.
Yeah.
Of it before, and Captain America's going to lose his beard. Just like I'm like
no. I like his beard. He suits a beard. He
looks good with the beard. That's why I put it. People are like, "Oh, my Captain America's back now." Just babyface Captain America. But I'm like, "Oh, bearded Cap will always be in my heart."
Yeah. I'm just hoping bearded Thor stays then.
Yes.
At least I can cosplay one Avenger, you know?
I'm all for that.
He needs to stay.
But yeah, they've also obviously confirmed further forward that there will be Spider-Man Away From Home. Or was it Far From Home?
People thought that was a joke, just because of the
Far
name.
From Home,
I
yeah.
don't know.
And they have confirmed there will be a Doctor Strange 2. So that's looking interesting. But they don't want to reveal too much about it because obviously everything here hinges on the resolution of Avengers 4. TV, I am loving Cloak and Dagger at the moment. I desperately need them to churn out episodes faster because it's such a great show. Available on Amazon Prime Video for anyone in the UK. The episodes come out literally the day after they're broadcast. So if you've got Amazon Prime, definitely need to make it worth your time watching through it. They've got two good leads. Fairly unknown leads, but I've enjoyed what I've seen of it so far. But obviously later this year, Doctor Who is back.
Is it her first season?
It is her first season.
Okay.
And apparently, according to some
out
people
so
who've seen the leaked footage, she's really good. Like, really good. So I'm hoping that that means that the writing on the series will be good, and going forward, she's going to make a... Because you know if they screw up the writing with her, that it's going to be, I told you they shouldn't have cast a woman as the Doctor. So they got to really get this right. So I'm fingers crossed for them. And, yeah, obviously, I think the next Netflix show is Marvel one that I'm looking forward to is Daredevil 3. That'll be an interesting one. Especially whether or not they deal with the events of Infinity War, or whether they do what Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did and kind of cop out on it. But speaking of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they're probably going to be doing what seems to be their final 13 episodes, presumably after Infinity War. But yeah, that looks like it could be the final season of what has actually turned into a fantastic show. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And most of the other stuff I'm kind of like behind with, so I'm kind of catching up on anyway.
I've got two more things that just came to mind.
Okay, yep, sure.
One of them is the final season of Telltale's The Walking Dead is out in August.
Oh, yes.
I didn't realize it was so close, which the first episode of it, to be fair, so it'll probably end by the end of this year, but still, it's probably, I guess, one of my favorite franchises, I guess you could kind of say, in terms of gaming. Even though first season is brilliant, one of my top 10 favorite games of all time. First season, second season, obviously people said it got a little bit flat, and third season it was very mixed. But I personally, I've been on board the whole way. Go on, Clementine. So there you go. And another thing is the new Star Wars animation show called The Resistance. That's what it's called.
Yes.
Isn't it? I don't know when that's out, but I'm going to assume it's out maybe end of this year.
Well, I'd be very surprised if it was Star Wars and you weren't interested in it, if I'm honest.
Yes. I forgot about it until now. So
Yeah.
it's really bad. But I'm interested in that because it's animation, I think, isn't it? I
Yeah.
believe.
And you've just reminded me of
Yeah.
something else. Actually, I was looking forward to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh yes.
That
looks
looks
really, really
interesting.
good.
I like
Art
the
style.
style of that. Yeah, that's very stylized, isn't it?
First time I saw that, my eyes had to kind of adjust because it
It
looked
looks
really
like
weird
it's
at first,
almost stop
but-
motion stuff, doesn't it? It's
Yeah.
kind of like it's almost a bit like another thing I'm looking forward to, the second Lego movie. In that
Yeah.
kind of like realistic looking but actually animated kind of thing.
Yeah. Just had two things there.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I'm done with things to talk to it. Anybody got anything they want to plug?
One thing before we do plug. What do we think about Destiny 3? Sorry, Anthem.
I think it's EA, and from the way they've kind of advertised it, it's not tempting me to go away from Destiny. Even with jetpacks alone, and it just doesn't look like it. We've got jetpacks. Okay, what else have you got? We got jetpacks.
with me personally, just coming from a personal perspective, is I've been BioWare's my favorite developer. Even though they've had struggles with Andromeda and things like that, but they are my favorite developer. So I'm always like, whenever a new game comes out for them, I'm gonna give it, I guess, the benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna give it a go. I'm probably not gonna pre-order it because I did pre-order Andromeda, and obviously I was disappointed. But I don't blame BioWare for that. I blame EA.
Because they rushed that out, didn't they? I think I heard that they rushed Andromeda out a little bit.
Basically, EA.
Oh, we need a game. We need a game. Have you finished Andromeda yet? No. Put it out anyway.
Basically, they fired half the writing kind of story team for Andromeda, and then bought on or gave the entire project to their B team. So obviously they're way out of their league, and obviously I kind of feel sorry for them in a way. I know they get paid lots of money to do this, but still, because they're just in way over their heads to try and do a game in this franchise.
It's a bit like when Bungie left Microsoft and they gave Halo to 343.
Yeah. But, I will give that BioWare the benefit of the doubt and try.
Yeah.
Just at least try out Anthem.
And I'm hoping that the recent fallout for all the loot box stuff and the recent court case stuff, like the bans, because I think Holland told a fair few games, including stuff like CS:GO, to remove their loot boxes, so that maybe companies will kind of like be reluctant for at least a little while to push this stuff in.
Overboard with loot boxes.
They do.
The thing is, it's one of these things where publishers incrementally slide these things in, just seeing how far they can push it, and once it becomes normalized, they push it a little bit more. And what happened with EA was kind of like went and overreached.
Yeah.
Because Shadow of War kind of almost did it, but because Shadow of War wasn't as big a franchise as Star Wars, it kind of just floated under the radar for a bit. But EA, you do that on one of the most popular franchises out there, owned by Disney, and you expect no blowback from that?
And I want Anthem to do good, mainly because if Anthem doesn't do good, because people are saying because of Andromeda's fallout, and if this game doesn't do good, obviously they spend a lot of money on it, so they don't get much back. It's like people might say, will this be another nail in the coffin for like developers? EA's kind of like shut down. And I really hope not, because I want Dragon Age 4 to come out.
There's a lot of studios buried under EA's patio. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. And
Brookside reference for anyone who wasn't born in the 20th century.
Yes. I mean, I hope it does well for the people who enjoy that sort of game. It's not for me, because I can't stand Destiny either, because I think that once you buy a game, I think that should be the game, and not have to pay for the game again.
Yeah.
But that's my personal opinion. But for the people who are looking forward to it, I hope it's as good as what it looks, or what it looked like last year, not this year. Because the trailer last year was so much better than the trailer this year.
They didn't announce it very. EA did not have a good. I mean, we didn't even mention. Actually, I should have mentioned in the things that sucked was Command and Conquer Mobile. Like
everyone wanted that just to be a proper game.
Yeah, it's kind of like here's a dead horse that we've dressed up as a llama. This is not what we wanted, EA. So not what we wanted.
But it's EA,
We'll just slap a well-known name on it, and people won't care.
Could I also just bring up like something, a big like
Yes.
thing I really enjoyed at E3 was basically the piss take that Bethesda did for
Oh,
Skyrim.
yes.
Yes.
That was amazing.
I loved it. I loved that because I was watching it with friends, and people were like going, "Oh, what is Elder Scrolls going to be announced and all that." And I was happy it was, even though nothing was shown apart from a beautiful kind of artistic background with like Elder Scrolls 6 or whatever it is, and that got me hyped already. But then people were like, "Oh, it's it's going to be Elder Scrolls Battle Royale, things like that." Taking the piss about it. But then when they released that little advert, and he's like, he's got his hands over it. What should I play? And he's like, Alexa, play Skyrim. It's just climb that mountain. It was hilarious. I actually applaud Bethesda for taking the mick out of themselves.
Yeah, I mean,
they did announce Elder Scrolls 6 as well, didn't they?
Yeah,
they did.
Finally.
I like the way they're not taking it so seriously. I mean, Elder Scrolls does so well, but like to take the mick out of it for people who don't like Elder Scrolls as such, they could still enjoy that.
Yes.
I think it was good for fans and non-fans alike.
Here we you could sort of like people archaeologists in the future thinking, oh wow, this is a copy of Skyrim, that game that's still being produced.
We'll all be doing archaeology in VR by then.
Yeah. No, you'll be doing VR of people watching people do VR of playing archaeology.
Yeah, that's true.
The Simpsons predicted it.
That's it. Oh,
anyway,
dear.
Lola, you have something to plug, I believe.
I don't really have anything to plug, but you
well,
said
are
plug.
you starting something?
Am I starting? Starting. Yeah, are you talking about said drinking games?
Yes, your podcast. I am talking about your podcast.
Wonderful. So on Friday just gone, I recorded my first podcast with my other half of my friend, or our friend, not my friend. And so it's just a general podcast where we may have a little bit of alcohol. In my case, a lot of alcohol.
Well, with you don't drink much, so a little bit is a lot.
Yeah, I had about half a bottle of vodka.
Jeez.
And and it lasted. The poor editor, which is the friend of ours, he's got 4.5 hours of audio to get through. So good luck to him. So on Twitter, we are Drinking Games UK. That when the podcast is all finished up and sounds wonderful, it will be going up on YouTube.
Excellent. Katie, anything more to add before I get to the BNN news section?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay. Right. Okay. Well, I don't know quite what is next week because the schedule's a little bit up in the air. But I do know that me and Katie, at some point in the next week or two, will be doing a Star Wars podcast. So check that out. We'll try and figure. We will
be putting a form out for because we've got one guest still lined up. We've still got one guest on the cards, but we will.
Yeah, we might like another guest. We could talk about all things Star Wars: the good, the bad, and the Disney. Well, I think now it's time to announce, because we haven't had this for 2 weeks now, so this is a big one. This week's featured member is Bravstar. So yes, honestly, I was surprised to find out he hadn't had it already because he is so well known.
Such a sweet guy. People.
Oh, really lovely guy. Also, I have been asked to remind everybody that the clip competition is closing tonight. Not sure what time exactly, but this is your last chance to get your clip competition entrance in before we start to move to the first elimination round. Also, as you might have noticed from an announcement recently, we are actually starting a stream team. Now, at the moment, it's going to be picked by the mod team. So we're going to be looking at people we think represent the BNN in a positive light. So it's about quality of the stream. It's about being a good, active part of the community. So, just get out there, do some good stuff. And we just wanted to highlight people doing the good stuff well, basically. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's about it. And my God, we've actually managed to fit it in within an hour for once.
Woo!
We've not overrun, so that was pretty good. So yeah, if it's not me next week, it's probably going to be Geek, but we've got to sort that out. And
Sorry,
then
Emmett,
then
it's
you
just so
probably won't
difficult.
see me for a couple of weeks because unfortunately I'm going to be moving and I'm not going to even know what my internet status is back. So what I'm going to take this opportunity to plug something else, which is the Total Biscuit charity stream, which will be happening what day, Lola?
28th and 29th of July.
Yes, so please, please, please make sure you check that out. Make sure you open your wallets as well because it is to fight cancer, and it's a very worthy cause. I think,
Yeah.
yes, as BNN says, we should do a little raid. Now, the first question is Bravster on?
No, I did check. I just
Bravster
checked.
is not on, so I think
Rude.
we should ask somebody to pick someone for us to raid. Who are we going to raid?
Pick well, chat. Pick
You know
well.
what? Who's
Who is
top
going?
tipper today? Who is top bitty tipper? Porster. Who should we
Porster.
raid? We've got
Buy the raid.
We did watch it last
oh,
time.
we
watching, I think, was done.
Geek is coming in with Watch Inman. Oh,
Watching
Ank's
was
on as
last
well.
time.
I vote Ankh.
Ankh?
Ankh.
Go for it.
Okay, we're gonna
I can
go for nice. I think it's totally not because my wife suggested it either. I'm not biased, but
I'm with Shell.
oh, we got Twisty as well. Ooh, oh, we got so many good people.
Eventually we'll get to everybody.
Yeah,
We can
eventually
make
we're going to get to everybody. So,
We'll go with Ankh this week. I think would be good.
yeah, I think we're going to go for Ankh this week.
Yes.
Yeah, because all of the guests are kind of like agree with that. So, right. So that means I've got to do some typing. Grab my tablet.
Right. Is it like this, bro?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just doing the whole. It's such a tiny keyboard, and I have such fat hands.
You need a pen. Pen.
Need a stylus.
That's it, a pen. So say-
Luckily, I have raided Anchoress before, so she is. I don't actually. BNN, I think, would have to do it. I don't know if I can do it. I don't have my. I just realized I don't have my
BNN.
privileges. BNN, could you raid Ankh, please? I thought it was on my own channel then.
Prof
Oh,
taking over the
I'm a
world.
professional host, honest. Yes. Anyway, thank you everyone to come in. Thank you to everyone who donated biddies. Remember,
All-Star gets his own shout out, right?
yes, Porster, you mad, crazy son of a gun. He's
Yes.
probably in Ank's stream. That's probably why he's not responding. 'Cause he's actually a good friend of Ank. But yeah, my God, that guy has got an open wallet. He gives Emmentalo a run for his money.
Emmentaler's got competition.
Yeah.
Definitely got competition.
So BNN, if you'd like, or
Done it. Timer's running out. We got to say bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. It's done.
Okay.
I
stop
hate that
stream.
little timer. I do.